a hive of activity down at the winery this morning, because look what's arrived. First load of red grapes this year. So very soon they'll be making their way in here. So they're just giving the kit final clean down into there, and it'll all begin. Who needs health and safety anyway? Fermentation tanks can hold up to about 7 tons of fruit. We've got 9.5 tons today, so 2 of those will be in use. And then on Monday, there's more fruit arriving to go over to their other site at Branson, including a couple of tons of Riesling as well. So hopefully get to see some of that action. Pre-run juice pouring out there, raking some of the berries in. The juice is pretty much flowing straight through, and then that tap at the bottom on the left there. And to the right of it, the yellow cloth battering away there, that's all the berries coming out. Inside that long tube there is a cylinder, which is basically a bunch of holes in the metal, spinning around super fast, and that is splitting away the stalks and the stems from the bunches, which then come out on that conveyor belt there, and down into that bucket, waiting to receive them down there. That's basically how the whole process starts, filling up the fermentation vat. So these grapes were all picked at Tammy's block, I think it was our block 3 last night, and delivered here about 7 AM this morning. So a lot of last minute prep this morning, and then we're now about halfway through loading it into the fermentation vats. So we've got the first half in, then I think I'm going to move that bit of kit across and fill up the next one. And then I would imagine I'll add a yeast culture, let it all warm up, and let fermentation commence. So it begins. It's all pretty cool. So we're onto the second fermentation tank, filling it up now. And what will happen is once we've got both of those filled, we'll take samples from each of them, take them to the lab and assess the acidity, the pH, TA, the total acidity, the pH, and a number of other factors in the juice. And from that we'll decide whether or not they need to make any additions to it. Sometimes you find they'll need to add a little bit of acid, but from the state of the grapes over the last few days, I think the prevailing opinion is probably won't need to add anything to this lot. And then at the end of the day, they will pop in the yeast cultures, and away it will go.
Oh wow, he really is in the middle of, I wouldn't record too much down here, he's really in the middle of restocking it.
That's just a secret cellar beneath the bakehouse, beneath the cellar door. Tasting with Mike earlier, going through his 12th tree range, which is pretty much his single vineyard range, and he does Grenache, Grenache Mataro and Shiraz. And yeah, so I want to show you this. He says, show you this. Okay, that's Grenache. Pretty light. Also Grenache, different site. This one is the Moritz in Bullet Springs Road, or rather Moritz Road, Bullet Springs, McLaren Vale. So the first two McLaren Vale. This one Barossa Valley from Grenache. Give them the same kind of colour. Next one is Vine Grove, also from Grenache, Vine Grove Road. A bit darker. And then we get to this Canar Hill from Moppa. Now, it really doesn't show so well on this, but that is so dark that you cannot see the base through there. That's like Shiraz. It smells like Shiraz. Moppa Hill Grenache smells like Shiraz. Awesome. Really awesome. So it's been a pretty interesting day. Started off with the grapes arriving this morning. It's been a long time in coming. This is pretty much day 9 since I've been here. And this is the first red grapes to arrive at the winery. The pressing, crushing, all pretty interesting stuff to see. Today there's been a pumping over, which is effectively we find that when the grapes go into the tank with all the skins, the berries still intact, the berries rise up and sit on top, and that forms what we call the cap. And underneath there's the free-run juice. So you pump out the free-run juice when you're pumping over. You suck that at the bottom and you spray that over the top. So you're effectively cycling the juice over the top, and that helps extraction of colour, of tannin, and to a degree of flavour. So that starts even before fermentation begins. So there's wild yeast, naturally occurring yeast in the winery and on the grape skins that will start that fermentation process in a very slow way. Now some wineries just let that take its course, and they will take all the way to full dry ferment, get all the sugars converted to alcohol. In most cases though, as they do here, they have a culture of yeast which they will inoculate with, which Ben the winemaker is preparing at the moment. So he's mixing up a bit of water, yeast and sugar. That'll start the yeast activating, rehydrating it. They'll dump that in towards the end of the day, and that'll start this process. And over the next couple of days they'll pop in and they will do a few more pump overs, keep the caps cooled. That'll help manage the fermentation temperature a bit. And they might even, if it was starting to get heating up a bit, they've got jackets around the fermentation vats. Effectively it's just an extra thin pocket of metal around the top through which they pump water at cooler temperatures to help manage the temperature, or you can pump warmer water through if you need to raise the temperature. So it's all a way of managing it. So that'll be happening over the next few days. In the meantime, I will be enjoying this weekend the Anguston Festival. We're local. There's three villages effectively forming what forms most of the Barossa: Anguston, Miriapta and Tanunda. I'm staying in Tanunda, but I'll be going over to the Anguston Farmers Market first thing in the morning, and then finding out a little bit what was going on during the festival, and I'll visit a few cellar doors in the afternoon. So yeah, not all bad.